It's the Sunday Morning Brew with Maddie and Elle.
Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. This morning, it is just me, myself, and I, Elle Dawson. Unfortunately, Miss Maddie Levine cannot make it today, but we have to recap UFC 308, guys. What an incredible, incredible night of fights. I think we were all blown away by UFC 308. Make sure you are in the comment section. Let us know what your fight of the night was. And if it's not Rumbetsky versus Oralby, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. As Keenan has said in the comments, it was absolutely bananas last night. Thank you, everyone who joined in on the live watch along. We had so much fun. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, thank you so much. We appreciate your support. If you did not subscribe to the YouTube channel, what are you doing? Head over to Fight Bananas Official immediately on YouTube and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our wonderful Fight Bananas content coming up this week. We have our Tuesday live show. We have Cage Side with our wonderful Christopher James. And we have some exclusive interviews with wonderful journalists like James Lynch and Ryan Jarrell, and a lot of those are exclusively on our YouTube channel. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Guys, we have got to recap this card. What a night for the UFC in Abu Dhabi. UFC 308 absolutely delivered. I think we can pretty much go through the entire card, and there wasn't a single bad fight here. We had competitive fights. We had big finishes. We had knockouts. We had submissions. We had Khamzat Chimaev break Robert Whittaker's jaw. I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures of Robert Whittaker's teeth. I would put it up, but I don't want to. It's gross. His palate, it's like his jaw is broken and his teeth are like his bottom teeth are pushed up in. It's rough. I think that's the first time I've seen that. What a powerful squeeze from Khamzat Chimaev. So incredible performance by him. Incredible performance by Ilya. Just wow. Max Holloway, I think, is almost everybody's favorite fighter, guys. He's every fighter's favorite fighter. And to see him put out like that is just a testament to the power that Ilya has. And I think seeing how good Max was looking before the knockout just makes that all the more of a powerful statement for Ilya here. A guy who's never been knocked down and was put away by such a powerful fighter in Ilya Topuria. Hello, everybody. What's up, Leprechaun? Lost on the and main event. I'm sorry, dude. We all had our hearts broken seeing Max Holloway get knocked out like that, for sure. What a legend of the sport, and nice to see Ilya and kind of squash that beef that we all knew was kind of fake anyway, and give Max his flowers after that performance. This is a great question, Real G's. You think Ilya can land the punch on Makhachev? I think Makhachev is probably substantially too big for Ilya. But man, Ilya's power and how clean his boxing is and how fast he is just incredible. I was trying to give play-by-play commentary here on the live watch along last night, and I could barely keep up with these guys. The speed and the pace of this fight was just unbelievable. When they got into the phone booth together, the speed from Ilya's hooks was terrifying. Like, just watching the fight on the TV, like, just gave me a ridiculous hype. I don't even have words, guys. UFC 308 left me speechless, and you guys know how much I love to talk. So what a night. What an awesome card last night. Yes. Hello, Avinash. Thank you for joining us. Who does Neal fight next? We have to talk about Jeff Neal. I almost forgot about Jeff Neal. I just knocked something off my desk. That's how excited I am, guys. I had forgotten about Jeff Neal. That's how good the rest of this card was. I expected Jeff Neal to beat RDA. I 100% did. I did not expect him to shut out Rafael dos Anjos so early in the first round. Obviously devastating to see RDA injured. Again, he's dealt with a lot of injuries. We all love RDA. He's a fantastic fighter and a legend. However, I don't think the knee injury is what won Jeff Neal this fight. He was looking phenomenal, putting RDA down very early in this fight, showing incredible striking, incredible power. Man, I'm really excited for the future of welterweight and middleweight. I think both divisions were a little bit stagnant for a while, but we got to make some matchups for Jeff Neal here. Let's pull up these rankings and let's talk about it. Let's see. Keelan, 100% right. Massive generational changing of the guard last night. Yes, and I am here for it. I am, of course, heartbreaking for Max Holloway. But man, it is so exciting to see new blood and new life in these divisions. All right. Jeff Neal is at number 10 right now. I don't know. We have Joaquin Buckley right above him, coming off a huge win over Wonder Boy. We have Ian Gary and Colby Covington coming up. Sean Brady just had a huge win over Gilbert Burns. Ooh, maybe Jeff Neal and Sean Brady might be a fun matchup to make. There's so many options for him here. Joaquin Buckley would be a fun fight. They're both phenomenal strikers. They're both explosive. They're both powerful. But I wonder if Jeff Neal maybe wants to slide up the rankings a little further than that. But so many options here. Ooh, Dustin tweeted that he wants Ilya or Max. I don't know that fight is happening. Would that be at lightweight? I don't think Dustin's planning to go down to 45. But obviously him and Max is a fight we would love to see time and time again, because that first fight between Max and Dustin at lightweight was just absolutely incredible. I don't think Max should stay at featherweight. I think lightweight is the right move for Max Holloway. I think this weight cut at 45 takes so much out of him, and we saw how much power he was carrying at lightweight against Justin Gaethje. I would really like to see him make that move, but unfortunately, I don't know that he's going to do that. Yeah, I don't really know what that looks like, because I don't think Dustin's making 45 anytime soon. But that could be interesting if Ilya decides to make that jump. I do think there's a lot of lightweights that outsize Ilya substantially, but his power is exceptional at 45, and I can only imagine he would carry that into the lightweight division as well. Sorry, let me catch up on the comments here. Bobby's teeth. Oh my God, I know. That hurt my heart. Bobby Knuckles is another guy everybody hates to see lose, him and Max both. But what a changing of the guard, as Keelan said earlier. RDA has slowed a little. He's definitely getting up there. I think he's one of those guys that has done a good job withstanding the test of time. He's changed his training well. He's adjusted, but he has dealt with a lot of injuries. My only grievance with RDA is, why is he still in the lightweight rankings? RDA has not competed at lightweight in ages. He's been at welterweight. He said he's not going back down to lightweight. I want to see RDA taken out of the lightweight rankings. That's my only grievance against RDA. Other than that, love the man. I do think he is starting to slow, though. I do not speak French, but thank you for your comment, Buddy. I appreciate it. Do not know what this says. Because Neal had a fight with someone who would stand in range and not run like Gary did. Hey, Ian Gary fought him smart. You cannot fault the man for that. Hello, Buddy. Hi, shout out from the Philippines. Loving the Dagestanis here in the comment from Foxtrot. Shout out from the Philippines. Idol Khabib Nurmagomedov. Absolutely. It's a good matchup with Buckley. I agree. I think that could be really, really fun. Me versus you. No, thank you. 55. Yes, I think that I would love to see either of them fight Dustin at 55. At the same time, though, I feel like those fights don't do much for Dustin. I think he's one of those guys that's just been there. He's been at the top for so long, and he's done so much in that division. And I think if Dustin is seriously wanting, maybe to make that title run one more time, which I definitely think he's capable of, as he showed, he was one of the first people to make Islam Makhachev look mortal. He had a very competitive couple of rounds with Islam. If he wants to make that title run again, I'd really like to see him maybe get that one back from Justin Gaethje and fight somebody who is consistently in the lightweight rankings. No. Have you ever been to Illinois before? I have actually. I'm actually born and raised in Missouri. So I've been to Illinois several times. I did some jujitsu tournaments in Illinois and Chicago. I like Chicago. Let's see. Dustin is coming out of retirement. Dustin never retired. Yeah, he's never retired. He is definitely still planning to fight, and I do believe that he has some stuff in the works, but definitely not retired. Let's see. Show me state. Yep, that's Missouri. I am from Iowa. Missouri is cool. Mark Twain. Mark Twain is Missouri's claim to fame, guys. There's very few famous people from Missouri. However, Brad Pitt is also from my hometown, Springfield, Missouri. So handful. Chiefs. I've not been watching football this year, so hopefully that means the Chiefs won. Go Kansas City. Or you're just saying Chiefs because I said Missouri. I don't know. I'm not following football. Don't come at me. Islam Makhachev versus Khamzat Chimaev. If the fight happens, who will win in your opinion? If you had asked me this before last night, I would have said 100% Islam. I think he has the cardio. I think he's big enough. However, Khamzat, I mean, are these guys meeting at 170? Because at 85, of course, Khamzat is destroying Islam. I think if they met at 70, the size, Khamzat would have to get much smaller. Obviously, I agree with you, Adam. This fight will not happen. We're speaking purely in hypotheticals. When Khamzat was fighting at welterweight, it made a little bit more sense, but not now. Now Khamzat has made it very clear that he belongs at 185 at middleweight. He looked fantastic there. But I think Khamzat is too big for Islam, and his wrestling looked absolutely superb against an incredibly high-level opponent like Bobby Knuckles. How did Farid Basharat do yesterday? Incredible. Absolute masterclass by Farid Basharat. We have to talk about this fight. What a gangster. If you guys don't know, Farid Basharat trains down here in South Florida. I believe this is the first camp he did here at American Top Team with us. Super, super talented fighter. Made an absolutely gangster move. Took a fight with a guy who missed weight by 10 pounds. Farid came in just a pound overweight to show that he could indeed make the weight, but he needed to make that gap less than 10 pounds so that the fight could continue. Still fought a guy much, much bigger than him and absolutely dominated. Looked phenomenal. So super impressed with Farid Basharat. What a gangster. I'm super excited to see what's next for him. But both Russian. Oh, we're talking about Islam and Chimaev. Yes, they are both Russian. Chimaev and Duplessis is an interesting fight. Yeah. I think Chimaev's wrestling is just superb. Like I was very impressed with not just his initial shot, because he shot from really far away. Like he was diving on ankles and still completed a beautiful shot and was so clean with the scrambles, so much control. I think his wrestling is probably better than Duplessis' his pure wrestling. Duplessis is a very difficult person to fight, just with his awkward style and his heavy pressure. But if Chimaev gets Duplessis down early, I can absolutely see him holding him down, especially early in the fight. He would choke him. The double back fist was wild. Yes, that was insane. I have absolutely never seen that before in my entire life. From Shara Magomedov. If you guys missed this guy did a spinning back fist, landed it super clean, and then spun immediately the other direction for another spinning back fist. Knocked out Armen Petrosian, who is an incredibly tough striker. Wow. Just wow. This was such a good card, guys. If you did not watch these fights last night, you have to go back and watch them. Let's see. Do you think Chimaev is going to jump the line and get a title shot next? Well, he just jumped from 13 to 3. The 13th ranked guy just beat the number 3 ranked guy yesterday, guys. So I don't think that he will jump Strickland. I think that fight is pretty much already set between Duplessis and Strickland to do that rematch. I absolutely expect Chimaev to be there as the backup fighter, and I absolutely expect him to get the next title shot. Speaking of the next title shot, we have to talk about big changes that happened in the cage last night after Ilia Topuria knocked out Max Holloway, because the conversation has been that Merab and Sean O'Malley were going to rematch. And we also probably thought Diego Lopez was next in line for the featherweight title, but Dana White made some changes last night. He had Volkanovski coming into the cage to face off with Ilia Topuria after he knocked out Max Holloway. And the UFC has just announced that they are going back to Sydney, Australia, in 2025. I believe that's for UFC 312. And I think that fight makes perfect sense to do in Sydney. I definitely expect them to match up Ilia and Volk now on that Sydney card. Preferably, I would have really liked to see them do Ilia versus Diego Lopez in Spain sometime in the spring. But perhaps if Ilia retains the title a second time against Volk, we will see that fight come to fruition maybe in the summer or early fall. But the bantamweight division, everybody had been talking about Merab and Sean O'Malley rematching, and that fight was in the works. And Umar was supposedly fighting Song Yadong. Everybody was confused, and for good reason. Dana White shut those rumors down and said Merab and Umar are absolutely happening next. So incredibly excited to see Umar Nurmagomedov fight Merab Dvalishvili. But I have to go back to the comments. Sorry, guys. Rant over. I was a bit skeptical about Khamzat winning because he's been a bit not so poised lately, but he absolutely mauled Whitaker. Yes, 100%. Khamzat Chimaev versus Pereira, who will win? I think we have to see a little bit more from Khamzat, but once again, Pereira is massive compared to Khamzat. Like, he walks significantly heavier. And I think one of the reasons we have not seen a whole lot of people wrestle against Alex isn't just the fact that he has only fought a handful of people who can wrestle, but also the fact that once you feel his power and the range control and how much danger there is setting up your shots, I think people think better of it in the moment. So I think it could be a very dangerous game plan for Chimaev to just come in and dive at legs against Pereira and risk running into a knee. Let's see. How about the bloody Rembetsky and Orolbai fight of the night? Absolute fight of the night, guys. If you thought any other fight should have gotten fight of the night, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. These guys went to war. We're both pouring blood everywhere. Incredibly competitive fight. I thought Rembetsky had Orolbai finished 2 or 3 times in the third round, and he just had so much heart. Orolbai stuck it out, had his eyes swelled shut the entire time. I am pretty sure he could not see and still continued to fight. So I'm so glad those guys got paid. They both deserve 50 Gs, 100%. Rankings mean nothing. The hot fighters get it. That is definitely very well said, Jacob. I think the rankings often are confusing. We were talking about the fact that RDA is still ranked at lightweight right now, which makes no sense. So I definitely think the rankings do not matter as much as people think. You're taking Khamzat Chimaev over Pereira. All right. Volk will lose to Topuria. Volk's retirement fight once he loses. I don't disagree. That's why it's in Sydney. No, I think that's a really, really great point, Leprechaun. I do think Topuria is the best featherweight in the world right now, 100%. I am really interested to see him compete against some other talent, some young talent coming up in the division. Another featherweight fight that happened last night was Lerone Murphy, who fought Dan Ige. I definitely think Murphy had a rough first round. He made some mistakes early in the fight, but he's a really, really talented young featherweight as well. And I'm very interested to see him climb up the rankings. I think eventually we will see Lerone Murphy as a title contender. I was really impressed with Ige, to be completely honest. I thought Ige had a phenomenal game plan, but Murphy did make the right adjustments, albeit a little bit later in the fight than I would have liked to have seen from Murphy. It was a much closer fight than I expected it to be, but Murphy looked good. Chimaev is another level. He would tote can Pereira. I don't know what that means. I want to see Pereira versus Ankalaev, but Ankalaev needs to rank up a bit. Ankalaev should definitely be next in line. I don't think he needs to fight again. He is probably one of the most underrated light heavyweights. I know he's not the most exciting, but Rakic is a much better win than people are acting like it is. Like it really is a solid win. Rakic is a really talented fighter, and he's very complete. And Ankalaev put on a masterclass, like beautiful counter striking, really powerful shots. I thought he looked great. Gregor said Ankalaev versus Hill. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of over Jamal Hill. He won't fight Khalil Roundtree. I don't think he would fight Ankalaev, to be completely honest. I I don't expect us to see Hill ever back in title contention. I would much rather see Ankalaev and Pereira, maybe late spring of next year. That's the fight I would really love to see at light heavyweight. I think it makes the most sense by far. Lerone and Emmett next will be a banger, 100%. And Emmett is a scary dude to call out. Like, he's so dangerous. He's so powerful. Even he's older in his career, and we still saw what he did to Bryce Mitchell. Like, just absolutely devastating. I would love to see that fight. And I think it's a great challenge for Lerone Murphy. And I think that name does a ton for him moving up those rankings and getting him towards that title shot. I think Emmett is a great next move for him. And Magomedov didn't even wrestle, 100%. People forget that Magomedov has that wrestling in his back pocket. I know he doesn't use it a ton, but when he needs to, he does. And I think that's why it makes the Pereira fight more interesting than most possible opponents for Pereira, who are not going to try to wrestle him. Let's see. Murphy can be a great test for Topuria if they do fight. I think Topuria will beat Volk in Sydney, sadly, and also beat Lopez in Spain if that does happen. But, Christian, if Diego Lopez beats Topuria in Spain, we have the best matchmaking set up for immediately after that. And that is for the ultimate rematch and just beef going on between Movsar Evloev and Diego Lopez if Movsar gets it done against Aljamain Sterling, which I think would be awesome. Just an awesome story, awesome build up to that title fight if we get that from Diego Lopez. But I would tend to agree with you. I think Ilya is going to beat most guys in this division right now. How do you feel about Dana and John Jones flirting online? It's getting out of hand. I think they've always had a pretty nice relationship. I think Dana loves him some John Jones. I think we're going to see him retire this year anyway, so I don't think it really matters. I think we're going to see him fight Stipe, beat Stipe. They're both going to retire again, and we'll never see them fight again, and we'll never see anybody fight Tom Aspinall. We're not going to see either of those guys ever fight Tom, in my opinion. So, yeah, guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for being so active this morning too. We had a super fun UFC 308 watch along yesterday. Feel free to go back, watch the watch along. Guys, head over to our YouTube channel, Fight Bananas Official. Please, please, please subscribe. Please support the channel. We will have live shows on the YouTube all week this week. I'll answer a couple more questions, and then I'm going to sign off on this beautiful Sunday and go to a pumpkin patch. So let's see. Do you think Jones versus Ngannou would happen? So what, you think Jones retires from the UFC and PFL picks him up and does a super fight with Jones and Ngannou? Because that's the only thing I can see happening there. I doubt that would happen. I think if Jones retires, he retires. I don't think it benefits him to go and do that with PFL. It's a very high risk, very little reward for John Jones, in my opinion. So, Christian, I agree. First round sub, and then Jones retires. I could see a second or third. Stipe's tough, but he's old. He's tough, but he's old, and he hasn't beaten anybody on the active roster. And he is fighting for the heavyweight world title, guys. That's wild. I think Tom Aspinall is just getting absolutely shafted right now. I think it's unfair to Tom Aspinall, but it is what it is. It's the John Jones privilege, and he deserves it because he's a superstar. I think Jones should take the crown and leave. I agree, and I think that's exactly what he will do. Thank you, guys. It has been almost 25 minutes here on this beautiful Sunday morning. Thank you all for joining me. Make sure you tune in this week. Subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube. Tune in this week. Monday, we have Cage Side with our lovely Christopher James. We have our live show on Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. We have Boxing Bananas during the week. We will have a Friday night or Friday afternoon recap with myself and Dave. And then, as per usual, every Sunday morning, you'll have me and the beautiful Maddie Levine will be back next week. So y'all have a blessed Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me.